Hey y'all, give me a minute. Somebody wanted to call me right as soon as we start. Where was he? Hey y'all, happy Sunday. I apologize for the beginning, but I know I haven't been doing this long, but long enough to where y'all know 1 o'clock on Sunday, I'm doing something. Why call me at that time? Or I guess the better question is, why am I responding? So let's put the responsibility where the responsibility should be with me. Why did I feel the need to respond to something when my focus should have been right here in this moment? Hey, y'all, happy Sunday. I hope that you are well wherever you are. The chat is open, whether you are joining live on YouTube or Facebook. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you are and if you are doing well. And if you are doing well, what's the reason? What is the reason for you feeling good? And if you're not doing so great, what's the reason if you feel like sharing? If there's anything in particular that we can do in this space to make sure that you receive what it is that you need, then ask for it. That is one of the lessons that I continuously learn and offer to others. If there's something you need, ask for it and recognize that you are deserving of it and that you will receive what you need. And so I'm grateful again. The streak was almost broken, y'all. Like I usually start a little bit before one. I was ready, I was prepared, but I was scrambling. And so I'm grateful to have this moment of pause and reflection where we can create a safe space to feel as though we're not losing it mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Like we're not losing it. Like there are places still that we can just breathe and relax. And so today we're going to talk about body awareness, but maybe not in the way that you think or I think. I always wait and receive instruction about how this should go and how it should flow. A lot of that is based upon what it is that I think other people may be interested in receiving. And so, if there's anything in particular about body awareness that you would like to receive, the comment section is a good place to put it. I am watching two different screens to make sure that I don't miss anything. And so, hey, honey, hey, love bug. And so, if there is anything in particular that you would like me to focus on, please don't be shy. Put it in the comment section and we can include it in this offering. We will be a little bit briefer than we typically are. We typically go 60 minutes or however long the discussion goes. I do have another event that I want to make sure that I am on time for. And so, wherever you are, either live viewing or replay, make sure you're comfortable. Make sure the place that you are sitting in, lying down in, is a comfortable space for you. And your comfort also means that people who may be around you are also comfortable. We don't want to impact anyone's environment. And so if my voice is too loud for somebody who's watching sports, then try to go to another room. If you are trying to multitask and do this in something else, I would offer, thank goodness this is recorded. You could go back and listen. We want to be present. We want to be present. Anything that has happened prior, let's try to turn the volume down on that. Anything that may be coming up, let's try to not even think about it because it hasn't happened yet. Let's stay in this right now moment where you and I are together whenever you listen. If you are joining live, I am grateful that you are taking time out on your Sunday to be with me. If you are watching the replay, which many of you have, and I am so grateful. I am so, so grateful for those of you who find me in places and spaces and decide that you will share in whatever it is that is offered through this space, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or any of the other places that I show up. I am grateful for your presence. I did a meditation earlier this morning where we talked about being more mindful of collaborating. And a lot of times when we have something, particularly if we have something good in our life, we want to hold on to it and be possessive over it and maybe not share it with other people, whether it's our peace, whether it's our home, whether it's any other resources that contribute to us feeling and being well. Sometimes when it's so good, you don't want to share it. And that's really not the way that we are designed. We are part of a collective consciousness that requires that there is equal giving and receiving. And we see places where equality is not present and what happens when things are not equal or not imbalanced. And so let us be balanced in this moment in our giving and receiving. Let us be mindful again of the environment that we're in, that we're not disturbing anyone, and that no one is disturbing us. If you've got on some tight clothing, which if you are friends of mine, you probably do, you might want to loosen up that belt, that waistband, unhook that bra, whatever it is you got to do to get more comfortable. Meditation is a place where you give and receive. You give your time so that you receive some peace. You give your focus so that you receive some joy. You give something up so that you receive something in its place, because that is how the universe works, giving and receiving. And so everything that you give is not a loss to you. It may open you up to receive even more, or vice versa. Sometimes those of us who are giving in abundance might not receive the same back, but there may be a satisfaction that I gave what I had and it was, at a cost to me, but I recognize that in the collective, it has a greater purpose. And sometimes just the satisfaction of knowing that what you have given is blessing over and over and over, sometimes to the point where you may not even see the effects of your gift. The satisfaction of knowing you gave from your heart may be enough to fill whatever space that gift may have occupied in your life. So let's take some deep breaths as we come into this moment to talk about how we can become more aware of what's going on, not just in our body, but in the bodies of individuals around us. Because body awareness is not a solo, selfish practice. It's not just let me make sure my body is okay. It's make sure all bodies, human, animal, plant, like all bodies are well. And how do we make sure that all bodies are well? By becoming aware of what is going on around us. Sometimes we're so up in here in our heads that we're not paying attention to what is going on around us. We're not paying attention to how our behavior is impacting other people. I was in a store yesterday and I was amazed at the number of people who were standing in the middle of the aisle and not aware that they were blocking the flow of traffic. Just not having that body awareness that me being here is restricting the flow of others. And when people, said, excuse me, they didn't move. They just kind of like were not aware that other people are around you. So be aware. So that's one function of body awareness. Another function of body awareness is how you feel around other people. You might be dismissing the instinctive cues that are going on in your body and putting yourself in environments that are making you sick, or at the very least is causing some discomfort to you energetically, but you're not paying attention to your body and the cues, and you stay in those environments for a long period of time, or long enough to where now it's impacting you physically or mentally or emotionally or all of the above. So that is also a part of body awareness. Body awareness is also being able to recognize when someone else may be uncomfortable. Yesterday, I did a lot yesterday. Yesterday, I'm at the park and I'm watching this young lady was sitting on a bench and this man was kind of hovering over her. And it appeared like they knew each other, but her body language was just so uncomfortable. And I kept thinking, I wonder if he knows what he's doing, because he was rather large, she was tiny, and him hovering over her. It was almost like he was sending a message without sending a message. I got the message that she was uncomfortable. So I sat there for a minute, waiting to see if there was going to be a shift in the dynamic. And at one point, he did sit down so that they were on the same level. So that is also something that we don't always pay attention to, the body awareness of others and how we can use our body to manipulate or to impact other people, even if it's not our intention to do so. We have to be more aware. And certainly, one of the most important things is trusting your body. How many times have we in our life not trusted our gut instinct or something that we felt? Maybe because we wanted to be nice, we didn't want to offend people, but we could feel something shift in our body and we may have dismissed it. And when you continue to dismiss the cues that your body is giving you, you learn to distrust yourself. You learn to second guess yourself. You learn to live with uncertainty. We may not be able to know everything about all things, but if there's something going on in my body, I want to be aware of it. If there's something going on around me in my environment, I want to be aware of it. Not to the point where I'm afraid of everything, but that I'm aware. And so let's start by taking some deep breaths, coming into this right now moment where we are more aware of what is going on. We are calling for and requiring that our mind, our body, and our spirit be on one accord, all things working together. Taking deep breaths and recognizing that with every inhale and exhale, I am doing something good for my body. If you feel comfortable enough to close your eyes, again, you don't have to look at me, although I did dress up for you. You don't have to look at me if you don't need to. To feel at your most comfortable self, if it feels good to let your eyelids fall, then do so. Continue to take deep breaths and pay attention to the way your body responds when you're breathing. Do you notice what your shoulders do? Are you paying attention to what your belly does when you're breathing? Are you becoming more aware of the way that you are sitting? Do you feel like your posture is in a comfortable place, or your posture has never been so great, so this is just the way you are? Maybe you're slumped down on one side. You can't see it, but I know I'm sitting in a crooked way. One of my legs is shifted to the one way and the other leg is shifted straight. We all find ourselves in particular physical positions. We don't always check in to say, am I even comfortable like this? I went again to an event yesterday and I sat in a chair and it's like, ooh, this chair was not designed for ladies with a lot of real estate in the back. And so I struggled with that chair, and I was like, how about you find someplace where you are comfortable? You can move. You're not a statue. Go where your behind will be comfortable. So sometimes we're aware, but we won't take that step. We won't take that action to make sure that we are comfortable. And sometimes the body awareness that we need to connect with is that I am in a situation that I know I need to leave, but I'm not where I need to be to do that yet. I don't want to be in this job. I don't want to be in this relationship. I don't want to be in this house. I don't want to be in this state. I don't want to be in this country. That's a part of body awareness too. What are you willing to do to make sure that you are comfortable? What are you willing to do to make sure that your body is well? And so continue to breathe, paying attention to the physical things that are going on in your body at this moment without judgment, without labeling it. Oh, my back is this. Oh, my knees are that. Just be comfortable with acknowledging your body, your beautiful body that you don't give enough credit for, even if it feels like your body may have betrayed you in the past, even if it feels like things are going on in your body where you don't have any control. Those of us who are of a particular age can feel that on a day to day basis. Something new is hurting, something new is growing in places that we never expected it to grow, or we're losing particular things. Our skin may not be as supple as it used to be, our hair may not be growing as lush and long as it used to be. There are always things going on in our body. Let us become more aware of them and acknowledge where we may have been placing judgment. Because becoming aware of your body is also releasing the judgment and the criticism that so many of us hold when it comes to our bodies. I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm too much of this, I'm too much of that. In this right now moment, take a deep breath and attempt to release any thought, criticism, judgment that you are holding against your body in this moment. Free yourself from all of that commentary, all of that chatter. Become more aware of where you haven't been the kindness to your body that you would like to, where you haven't been eating or sleeping or hydrating or doing all of the things that the human body needs, where you may not be loving and hugging and kissing and holding hands, because those things are essential too. Pay attention to it all and allow yourself the opportunity to create a space where we can begin to say thank you and be grateful for these bodies that may not look the way they used to, but they are still here, still present. Let's appreciate the fact that our bodies are still operating with all of the things that we are seeing, all of the things that we have experienced over our lifetime. We are still here. The things that you thought would end you, the things that have changed you drastically. Maybe you are amazed at the fact that you're still here. If you need to pinch yourself, go on and do it. You are. You are here. You are present. And let's be grateful for it. And as you continue to breathe, don't forget to breathe that essential life force activity. Let's step it up a bit. And think about those places in our body where we have forgotten. Maybe you've forgotten about your heart space. I don't want to assume that we are all adults that are watching, but maybe you have forgot about those sensual places on your body. Maybe you've forgotten about pleasure and joy as it relates to your body. Could be, could be through dance, it could be through some movement, any movement that you choose appropriately. Maybe you haven't engaged in particular experiences that used to bring you pleasure and you've just forgotten about them, or you haven't made them a priority in your life. Create the space right now in your mind to acknowledge I have forgotten about particular places of pleasure in my life, and I'm aware of that. And maybe you're not at a place where you want to change it just yet, but become aware of the choice, whether you feel like you were able to make the conscious decision or choice or not. Because for many of us, our body is in a particular state of being that may not allow us to do particular things. And if that is your truth, then speak the truth. Instead of creating a story that really doesn't serve you, tell the truth. My body is not able to do the things that I used to find pleasure in. And then tell the truth about how that makes you feel. And I'm sad about it, or I'm upset about it, or I'm embarrassed or guilty, or whatever emotion may be attached to that place that you have not been able to make a priority, or you just have not been able to engage in experiences. No matter the reason, just acknowledge that there are places and become more aware that there are places in your being, in your body, that haven't been receiving what they once received, or maybe they never got it. Sometimes you don't know what you're missing out of because you never received it. So many people will say that in their life experience, they never experienced genuine love. Some people will say that, places where they have experienced relationships, they weren't real. No one of us gets to say how someone else has experienced their own life. And so if there are places in your physical body, maybe you have not been able to educate yourself in the way that you would have liked because the resources to do so either were not available, or maybe the insight and passion just may not have been present for you when you would have liked for it to be. That is also becoming aware of your body. I have not educated myself in particular ways that I would have liked to. And I feel some kind of way about it. Or I haven't gone to particular places that I would like to go. It could be a country, a city, or a state of being. I have never allowed myself to fully experience joy. That's part of body awareness. And telling the truth that rests in your body is one of the greatest ways to become aware of what's going on in your body. When you start telling the truth, you know what? When I was a little girl, I always wanted to go to the moon. And now I recognize that I'll never have that happen. Life's not over, you don't know. But maybe that's your truth. Or when I was a young man, I always dreamed of, going to a particular country. And now that country doesn't even exist, or it's not existing in the way that it was when I was young. So I've missed my opportunity to experience it when it was the way that I would like to experience. Whatever the truth is for you, allow yourself in this moment to think about where you may have missed opportunities for your body to either be in places or be in a state of being. I would have loved to have been a parent, but I feel like that time in my life is past. I would have loved to have been a grandparent, but my children are not making that so. I would have loved to experience particular states of being, and I just don't feel like that's going to happen for me now. Tell the truth about how you feel about it, what you think about it. Because maybe disappointment is resting in your body. Maybe you're frustrated that your body won't move the way that it used to move. Start telling the truth. And as you begin to tell the truth about what you are feeling, what you are thinking in relation to your physical body, then maybe you won't be so willing to fight it, beat it up, not treat it well, not give it what it needs, or have it be in places where it shouldn't, or where it's not being loved. Maybe you will get more serious about how you care for, love, and appreciate your body when you start telling the truth of any disappointment that may be present. Hey, Marissa, how are you, darling? Happy Sunday to you, and thank you for joining. And don't forget to breathe. We are breathing as we are becoming more aware of. And trust me, we're not just going to stay in those places where there is discomfort or we recognize that pleasure is no longer a priority. We are also going to talk about those places mm, where things feel good. Now, if you feel like it's going to take you a minute to get to those places, that's what we're here for. Remember that giving and receiving that I talked about? We're going to give so that we receive. We're going to give time so that everyone can pinpoint a particular experience where it brings you joy. We're going to give the breath time to do what it does in our body to bring up memories, to bring up thoughts. Maybe it's from the past, or maybe it's something from the recent present. And that, Marissa, is a wonderful part of you becoming aware of what your body needs. Commitment, staying committed, even if it's challenging, even if it takes you places where you haven't gone to in quite some time. Staying committed to your healing journey is you becoming aware of what your body needs. So often, we will look to external places to give us what we need. When you start to tell the truth about the parts of your body that you may not be pouring into in the way that you would like, and when you also are grateful and start to acknowledge all of the places where you are doing things well. I never thought or imagined that this would be my life, that I get to talk to people about feeling better. Because there were so many times in my life when I didn't even know what feeling better meant, when I didn't even know what healing meant, when I couldn't even acknowledge what happiness was. And so part of the giving and the receiving, part of us becoming aware of what's going on in our body is telling the truth and acknowledging what we are grateful for. Yes, your body may not be able to do all of the things that it used to do, but it is here, ready to give and to receive if you will allow that to happen. And for all of my fiercely independent people, we got to get better at letting people love us. Part of becoming aware of what your body needs is by letting people love you so you know what it feels like. And I know if you have in your history some heartbreak, that can be challenging to do. And I know that there are individuals who are sitting in heartbreak and heartache right now. And for me to say, oh, you got to keep your heart open feels like the most challenging thing. And how can I let people love me when I keep getting my heart broken? How am I supposed to feel good about what's going on in this body when part of this body feels broken? And what Marissa said, it's the commitment that even if I feel like I'm in a million pieces, I'm going to look to love to keep me going. I'm going to turn that thing off that says, if your heart is broken, then you got to put all your defenses up and protect yourself and keep people at arm's length and don't let anybody in. All of that stuff that we tell ourselves will keep us safe will keep us even more isolated. And so if you feel that there are parts of your body that are broken, I am going to offer that those are the parts that you let people, that you let energy, that you let love into. Hmm. I said to someone this week who, was crying and crying, and she's like, I feel like all I keep doing is crying. And I said to her, and maybe that is where you will meet God in your tears. Maybe it is the brokenness where you will meet God face to face, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, because you don't have anything else. You can't see anything else. You can't hear anything else except for the voice of the God of your understanding. Maybe it's your tears that are the call that you have needed all along to get you to the place where you're more aware of what your body needs. And we try to be so strong. We try to be so independent. And I can't let anybody see me like this. I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to, let anybody in. And that can be the strongest thing that you ever do. Tell the truth about what you're feeling and allow the truth to speak for you. Doesn't mean that everyone that comes into your life is there with great and good intentions. If your intention, and as Marissa said, and if your commitment is to feel love fully, then you have to stay committed, even when there are circumstances that seem to just continue to break you apart. I didn't know it until I was broken into a million pieces that it would be exactly where I needed to be to heal the greatest. And you would think, well, that's a very cruel investment and payoff. I got to be broken down. Well, we human, we hard headed, and we don't listen. Sometimes when good and wonderful and great things are with us, we're not grateful for them. We're like, well, this is great, but so sometimes it's in our brokenness where we will find God the greatest. And I wish it weren't so. But I know the smartest thing that I have ever done is to not challenge it. And I often say, I don't know why God loves me the way that God loves me, but I'm not going to challenge it. I'm going to say thank you and be grateful for it. So tell the truth about the places in your body that you may have forgotten about. And it could be on that physical reality level of I'm not eating the way that I should be, I'm not exercising, I'm not hydrating, I'm not sleeping. I know I'm not doing the things, the minimum things that I need to do. And now you want me to do the mental and emotional work too? Yeah, because it's all connected. So the physical things that we do for our body, we also have to be more aware of the mental and emotional things that we do to our bodies. And if you are not paying attention You may have yourself in environments and situations that are hurting and harming you, even if that's not other people's intention. I know that I, in the past, have been in relationships where I was the harmful one, even if it wasn't my intention, because of my own refusal to be aware and to stay committed to my healing. I wanted it to be somebody else's responsibility for me feeling good. I wanted it to be somebody else's reason why I felt so bad and so hurt. You hurt me, so you are the villain and you should fix it. I ain't never seen in all my days a villain fix something that they broke up. I don't care what fantasy story you point out. Well, in this movie, the villain turned good. Yeah, but you did a whole lot of destructive things before you got there. In my personal life, I have never experienced a villain who wanted to turn around and then try to make everything well. Even if there was an apology and a forgiveness and sorry, you don't know how that hurt me, so you can't fix it. I am now responsible for putting myself back together. You can be sorry, you can ask for forgiveness, but you can't repair what you have damaged. I have to do that for myself now. And that's the part of healing that can hurt the greatest. Like, I didn't even do this, but now I'm responsible for fixing it. And when you become more aware of that, you won't be looking for other people to fix what's broken. You won't be looking for other things that we all engage in. No judgment, no criticism. I know I engage in things that make me feel better immediately. Those things are temporary. Nothing is going to heal like the personal work that you do on yourself. So continue to breathe and start becoming more aware and ask your body, what do you need from me? Do you need me to be quiet? Do you need me to separate myself from particular people, even though they say they love me? Even though I have fun with them sometimes, I do recognize that what we're doing may not be for my best. It might keep me in a cycle that I say I want to come out of, but it's hard to come out of something when it's also enjoyable. That would be me. When something feels good, why would I give that up? Even if I'm consciously aware that ultimately, in the long run, this thing ain't good for me. This is taking time away from other opportunities for me to grow. And you have to become more aware of what is going on in your mind, your body, in your spirit, so that you can give your body what it needs. Listen, Marissa, you and I both know that even if somebody did some damage and they came back and said, you know what, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, they don't live with the damage. So they don't know what it takes to repair it. And when I'm working with people who are in conflict, that's one of the questions I ask them. Did you ever ask the other party what your behavior did to their heart? Did you ever consider that they were already dealing with something difficult and you and that behavior that you exhibited, whether it was your intention or not, has now contributed to more pain for the other party? Some villains may at some point in their life say, I'm sorry. And even I know that there are things that I have done, whether it was my intention or not. I know I've created some damage for my children in relationships. I can't repair it, no matter how much I want to, no matter how much I desire to clean up my messes. I will never know what it's like to carry the pain that the other party has to carry. I don't know what it's going to take for them to feel whole and restored. That is now work that they have to do for themselves. So, all of the responsibility that we all have for our healing journeys, we are left with that. And when we accept that the villain is not going to come around the block and say, I'm sorry, and that I'm sorry is going to make it all better. Then we can also begin to ask our bodies, what can I do for me to restore those parts of me that feel broken? I have a lot of family and a lot of friends who love me well. I am a well loved woman. You're looking at a well loved woman. They cannot heal me. I have to do that for myself. I'm grateful for their support. I couldn't heal myself without it, but ultimately, I know the responsibility lies with me to be more responsible in all areas of my life, to look to them to inspire me, to look to their love to keep me afloat. But if I am not actively participating in my own healing, the way that individuals, can come and go into our lives when none of us knows. None of us knows. And so if I make someone else responsible for my healing and they are no longer invested in my healing or they are no longer here, how do I do? How do I heal that? For those of us who have lost our guiding lights, if that's what you consider your parents to be, I consider both my mother and my father to have been guiding lights in my life. They're no longer here. And so there is a part of me that feels untethered because those two people that had a great influence on my life are no longer here to provide the guidance that I still need at my big age. But my mother and father were never responsible for my healing. They could provide a whole lot of things, but I have to do that work. And some of the work I got to do, quite frankly, is because of some of the things that they did when they were here, even though that was not their intention. I have to become so aware of what my body needs because I am responsible for restoring me. And so, as we are breathing and moving along our life, we have to become more responsible and accountable for the things that we allow, for the things that we allow to impact us. Sometimes we're not always consciously aware. Sometimes you are knee deep in something and then you figure out, ooh, this is not where I'm supposed to be. That's okay. That's okay. We're not talking about being perfect. We're talking about being intentional and aware. And by being brave enough, it's a very courageous thing to ask yourself, what do you need? Not only what do you need, that I believe that I am responsible enough to provide it, and I believe that I deserve it. You ask the question, you believe the question, and you put in the action to make it so. That's courageous. So if there are any one of us that believes I am in the middle of my healing journey, I wish you well. I wish you well. It's not easy to continuously check in with yourself and say, what do I need? What do I need? And to believe that you deserve it. And so if you ask yourself, I need a hug, how am I supposed to get that hug? Where is that going to come from? Who do I trust? Who do I love? And where can I go and know that the hug that I receive doesn't come with a whole lot of conditions? I know where my safe spaces are, and I am responsible for pouring into them as they pour into me. And I know for myself that I want to do a better job at doing that. And that is my intention. And so I'm hopeful that as we are talking more about body awareness and we are becoming more responsible in giving our bodies what they need, not leaving anything out. And if you know that there is a part of you, again, that hasn't gone to particular places in your being, that you haven't made them a priority, now may be a good time for you to do some, reorganizing of your life so that you are more of a priority for you. We spend a lot of time making sure everybody else is well, and we leave ourselves last. We can't do that. Can't do it. It's not sustainable. And it's not selfish to do so. When you take care of you, you take care of all of us. When you are the best version of you, then you bring that energy to everyone you come in contact with. And you give examples of what taking care of oneself looks like. And maybe it's someone asks you a question. Why are you doing that? What is it that you need? And why are you not getting it? What's in the way? Can I support you in helping you move some things out of the way? I want the sun to shine on me always. I don't want things blocking the sun from me. And if you have a resource that can help me move the sun, then let's have a discussion because that's what we are here for, to love one another. And when we are absolutely sure that the only thing that makes sense is to cry our eyes out, then baby, cry your eyes out. Because again, that might be the place that you meet the God that you need to meet in the way that you need to meet God. It's not for everyone to meet God on Sunday morning when the choir is singing and the energy is high. For some of us, meeting God means I'm in a dark room and I'm feeling alone and I don't know what to do. I've done everything that I think that I'm supposed to do and nothing is working in my life. I don't know what else to do. And I'm feeling left out, alone, and uncertain. That might be the place that you meet God. And so continue to breathe. And I said we weren't just going to talk about sad things, but sad things are true things. And we try to avoid the sadness, but the sadness is a true reality of life. And some of us vacillate between I'm so incredibly sad, and then I get so extremely happy, but then I'm also, wary of that because I know the sadness is going to come. Both of those realities are truthful, and both of them are okay. You don't have to move through something just because it's difficult for other people to be around you. Get around some people who can handle you in your sadness. That's letting people love you and seeing the true version of you, not just showing up as the good time girl or not just showing up as the guy that makes everybody laugh. If you can't show up when your mascara is running and it looks like you haven't bathed in a couple of days, if you can't show up to the people who say that they love you in that way, then you can't show up truthfully as you are. And you might want to re-examine the places that you're going. I don't want anybody to be afraid of what I look like when I ain't got my lashes on. I want to surround myself with people who can accept this and when it don't look like this, because it don't look like this all the time. That is also becoming aware of your body. Because maybe you are the one that's not letting people see the true you. And so all people only get to see is the good time you, the fun you. And you're hiding that sadness because you don't want to be a burden or you don't know how people are going to receive you. Well, baby, if you're not showing up authentically, then you really ain't showing up at all. You're hiding. Some of the most loving people I know are people who share their pain. And not sharing their pain in a way that says, look how horrible my life is. But they share their pain in a way that says, look at what happened to me, and I'm still here. I didn't burst into flames. I didn't fall apart. I know some amazing people who will tell me things that I don't know that I'm even worthy of being privy to, but they will tell me things, not because they want to shock me, but because they want to share. And I think it is a very giving thing for people to say, let me open up my heart so you can see what has gone on in here. So you know why I am the way that I am. And if you can handle it, then you can stay here. I love it. And I also love the people that, despite all of those things that they have experienced in their life, they can either laugh at it or say, and I'm still grateful. I still know that there are good times to be had, that there is love to be created. I know that there are good people in the world. I don't shut myself down or hide myself. You get all versions of me. I love real people. And I know some very, very loving, real people. That is also being aware of what your body is doing and what it responds to. Because if someone else's truth makes you uncomfortable, that's a you problem. That's not a them problem. We shouldn't be telling people, oh, no, 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 don't, you're telling too much. It's too much truth for us to handle. Why would anybody not want the truth unless they're uncomfortable about the truth that may be within their own self? I saw someone the other day said something about a celebrity. I can't even think of his name. And they were like, oh, he's too much. Billy Porter. Oh, I'm sick of him. He's too much. Because he's speaking in his truth. He's living his truth, and it makes you uncomfortable. It may make you uncomfortable because you're so used to hiding that truth is offensive. And maybe we wouldn't lose as many people that we lose if we allow people to be authentically who they are without the criticism and without the judgment. That we just love people as they are. What a noble concept, that we just love people as they are. I hope that y'all are continuing to breathe. I hope that we are all recognizing how aware of our bodies that we are in this moment. Maybe some things are coming to the surface for you. Have I been living authentically? Am I surrounded by people who love me as I am? Are there places in my life that I have forgotten about? Is pleasure a dirty word to me because it's been so long since I've experienced it that I'm not even aware of what pleasure in my body feels like, sounds like, smells like? I don't even know. If someone were to ask me, what's your favorite thing to do? Would I sit there for like 10 minutes? Like, I don't even know because I don't have any joy in my life. I don't know. Becoming more aware of your body means I know who I am. I know what I need. I know what I deserve. I know what I create. I know how I show up. I know how authentic I am. I'm appreciative of me, you. I'm gonna mind my business and let you be who you are. Or as Beyonce says, comfortable in my skin because I'm not trying to be somebody else. All I want is what this one body that I have been given is deserving of. That's all I want. And I can receive it abundantly when I get very clear about who I am and what I am aware of, what I am acknowledging, and what I accept about me. I know I'm a handful. I know it. And I let everybody who comes in contact with me know it as well. I'm a lot. And guess what? And I'm worth it. I may take you through some shenanigans, but it's going to be worth it. And I'm working on it. I'm working on trusting myself more so that my heart isn't so closed. So let's take a deep breath and think about all of those moments where we are showing up authentically, because I know you have them. We can't just think about the times and the places where we might be hiding. We got to make sure that we acknowledge all of the times when we show up as we are. Maybe for you, it's as a parent. Maybe for you, it's as a sister, a girlfriend, a husband, a brother, a coworker, or maybe it's all of those places that the you see, the me that you see at 9 o'clock in the morning is the same person that you will meet at 5 p.m. The me that I am with my family is the way that I am with everyone because I recognize that everyone for me is family. That I don't have to hide parts of who I am because I'm afraid. And that doesn't mean that there are not things to be afraid of. I still do them even though I'm afraid. And that's courageous and brave and bold of me to do. I love the way that I sing. I love the way that I move. I love the way that I dance. I love the way that I share joy wherever I go. I like the fact that I light up rooms when I enter them. What is your thing that you are most proud of about your body? Baby, I love the way I fill out a dress. I love the way that my laughter can fill up a room. You will never meet anyone who could tell a joke the way that you tell a joke. Whatever your thing is that you are most proud of, be grateful that you have been given that gift. I love the way that I can make people feel better. Yesterday, I was teaching about energy, and one of my students said, "Ah, oh, that makes so much sense." That is one of the greatest things that I can hear as a teacher, as an instructor, someone coming into realization that something makes sense about themselves, about who they are. I do that well, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I sure will be critical about it. But in this right now moment, as we are being grateful for the way that we show up in the world, let us be grateful. Let us push humility to the side for a minute and one of my loves that is watching or was watching, she says, no one makes a cup of coffee like me, or no one makes a pot of coffee like me. And maybe you are the person that everyone comes to for particular things because they know what they are going to get. Celebrate that about you, and that other people are aware of it, and that it lives in your body as a truth that no one is displaying what you display, your uniqueness, your gift to the world. Acknowledge it and be grateful for it and be aware of when it is going on in your body so that you know what love feels like. So you know what balance feels like. So you know what grounding feels like. So it doesn't feel like a foreign concept. The more that you acknowledge, and I know that we live in a society that tells us we should be humble, we shouldn't be too prideful. I'm gonna need y'all to put that to the side for a minute and say to yourself, acknowledge and affirm, I am great at what I do. I am a great mother. I am a great sister, sibling. I am a great partner. If you need someone to listen to you, you are never going to find more perfect ears than the ones that I have. I need you to acknowledge and become aware of what it is. And I see my cousin. No one smiles like my cousin. Her smile, her gentleness, and her husband is the funniest man I've ever met in my life. No one is funnier than that man to me. And we need not be humble about the gifts that we have been given. Now, we don't need to let it go to our heads so we show up and operate in arrogant ways, but we need to carry that in our bodies and in our being. You're not just all a mess. We are so quick to say, oh, I'm a mess. I'm this, I'm that. You are great. You are wonderful. And you need to start to affirm that and become more aware of when that energy is present in your body. You know, when things are hitting on all cylinders, and stop the nitpicking. You could walk into a room and everyone's like, oh my God, you're so great. You get home and you're like, oh my gosh, my nail polish was chipped. And now that's on your mind. You've dismissed all of the compliments and the good energy that has come your way. And now you're focused on the one thing that was out of place. Or God forbid somebody take a picture and they post it, and all you can perseverate over is how you look in the picture instead of the experience that you just created. I know y'all are good people. We wouldn't be in this space together if you were not. And so I need you to let right now, in this right now moment, let that goodness that rests within you, let it come to the top of your head and the bottom of your feet so you feel that energy in your body that no one loves the way that you love, whether it's your family, your friends, strangers. I know that there is something about you. There's something about you that makes someone else in this world, probably a whole lot of people, applaud in their heart when you are present. Absolutely, Marissa. From the time that we are little girls, we are taught, don't be too much. I need y'all to not be so humble because you need to know what that energy feels like in your body so that you can replicate it, so that you can multiply it, so that you are eternally grateful for it. And so it becomes your calling card when you show up. And so when people come to me, I don't know what my passion is. It's in you. You have it. You might be dismissing it or embarrassed by it or not letting people know what it is because you have not acknowledged it or become aware of it in your own body. I know that there is someone watching right now that has a gift that nobody else knows about. And you're keeping it on the low, you're keeping it secret because you have yet to acknowledge just how wonderful and great it is. Either because you're comparing it to someone else, or you're in competition with someone else, or all of that other stuff is in the way. As I said earlier, I want the sun to shine on me always. And so if there is something in the way of the sun shining on your gift, I need you to move it out the way. If you need help to do that, give me a call because we can no longer continue to operate in darkness. It does not serve the collective consciousness well for any one of us to not be operating from the thing that makes us who we are. Doesn't serve any purpose for you to be denying how great you are so somebody else could feel good. That's offensive to me. It is offensive to me, and it should be offensive to you that you got to dim your light so somebody else can feel better about them, or that other people feel like I don't feel well unless I'm putting other people down. If that's you, you better check that. You got to put other people down just so that you can shine brighter. You don't have to do that. There's room for all of us. There really is. There is space and room for all of us because we are so unique in our gifts. And so let us allow that energy. Be proud about it. Be proud of what have you've been able to create. If you really think about it, all of the things that have occurred in your life since the moment you came into existence, if there is still something that you can identify that you are great at, that's your superpower. Because look at all of the things that have been in your life to diminish that or to disrupt it. But you are responsible, even if other people did the disruption, you are now responsible for letting that thing live and breathe and be present in your body. And doing it in a way where you're not harming yourself and you're not harming other people, but it lives in you. It's a real thing that you are willing to express and operate from. I need you to do it. Y'all need me to do it. because I'm responsible for you, you are responsible for me, and in that responsibility is the authenticity that each and every single one of us must operate from. But we won't be able to know what it is if we're not connected to our bodies in such a way that you know what you know and nobody can tell you any different. I don't care who the critic is. I don't care who's holding the judgment. You can't tell me about me because I know who I am. You can't tell me that my race, my gender, or any other thing that I identify with is the reason why I can't be great. You don't get to tell me that. You don't get to tell me that because my waist is not the way you think it's supposed to be, that I don't deserve love. You don't get to tell me that because my skin is a particular color, that I don't deserve to be celebrated. You don't get to tell me that because my hair isn't long and straight, that I'm not as beautiful as someone else. You don't get to tell me that. But I have to take responsibility for knowing that in my own body and not waiting for somebody else to tell me. Because this waist it may expand, it may contract. I'm still deserving in both of those ways. My hair could be long or non-existent. I am still deserving. I am still deserving. I am still deserving of honor and love. But I have to know that. I can't wait for other people to tell me that. I have to know that no matter how many zeros I got in my bank account, no matter where I live, no matter what I do, I am still deserving of love. And that is me becoming aware of my body and what I need and what I deserve, and knowing that I'm going to get it. I don't care what's in the way. And if I got to get some other people to help me and move it out the way, then so be it. I'm not going to let anybody deny what I know to be true for me and my body. But I have to know it first. And so, a lot of what we've been talking about today, the body awareness, is you knowing you being true to you, being true in the world, showing up, not worried about what it looked like, sound like, if it's perfect, does it look like so and so. I know my stuff be raggedy sometimes. I don't care. I'm a work in progress. But if I just sit with all of this stuff inside of me and I never let it live, what a crime. And so, for each and every single one of you, whatever that thing is inside of you that you're not let living, that you have shut away, that you put behind a closed door, I'm going to need you to do something different. I'm going to need you to be able to recognize what that does to your body and what that does to your spirit, for you not to operate from your gift. The damage that it does to you spiritually, you can't afford it. The price is too high to pay for you to not operate from your gift. It's just way too high. Because each and every single one of us, we know one thing to be true. We don't know how long we have here. And if you keep waiting and for the perfect conditions to exist for you to then do the thing that you know that you do so well, that time may pass. And I know for me, when I take my last breath, I want everyone to be like, she did that. She lived her life. She did what she wanted to do. She operated from an authentic place where she didn't care what anybody else saw, said, or had commentary or criticism about it. She allowed God to express through her freely. And I'm not trying to block God from doing anything where I am concerned. And so, if that is true for you, then I need you to become more aware of what's going on in your body. When you feel a particular way around particular people, how you feel when you're alone. For those of you who have gotten comfortable being alone and you know that's not really where you want to be, what are you doing about it? You waiting for somebody to knock on the door? For those of us who are extremely independent, doing everything ourselves, trying to figure things out, how are you collaborating with other people? And if you're not, why aren't you? There is wisdom just in this space alone. With the number of people who are watching right now, there is so much wisdom for each of us to grow in a particular area of our life. If we are not having conversations that are about growth, then what are we doing? How are we contributing to the collective consciousness if we are not supporting one another and loving one another and not being judging and criticizing? Well, I don't like the way you did it. Listen, everyone has wisdom that they can bring. We just have to listen and be willing to receive. I just talked about that this morning, that maybe the reason you haven't progressed in your life is because you're so possessive over the thing that you think is yours when it's really for all of us. You know, this thing that I do is not just for me, it's for all of us. And so every single one of you watching, you have something that is for all of us, but we can't access it because you ain't operating from it. And we want to see it. I want to see it. I want to participate. And even if it's not for me, I might know someone that it's for. But I don't know it if I don't see it, and you won't know it if you don't see it. And none of us will be able to allow the space for all of us to feel safe and to grow if we're so silent when it comes to our gift. Now, I ain't trying to call nobody out, but there's people that I know that are watching that are amazing singers. I ain't seen them sing yet in particular places and spaces. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I'm talking to myself as well as you know who I'm talking to. A gift of voice, of beautiful song, and no one gets to hear it. Artistic things. There's someone else that is watching who is such an artist, but maybe not operating from that place. And again, maybe these are things that you've put behind the door and you're like, oh, that time has passed. What time has passed? It's still within your body. And if it's in your body, I know it's got to be bothering you that you're not doing it or some form of it. Maybe you thought you were going to be center stage, and maybe you can still be in the teaching realm, teaching someone else, operating in that gift. It may not look the way that you thought it was going to look. Doesn't mean that the dream is dead or that it's not living in your body. I know it's in your body. I know because I know it's in my body for me. I know that there are particular things that I am not operating from, that I've shut the door on, and I shouldn't have done it. I just have to reimagine, what can it look like now? I said we weren't going to be long, and here we are long. I love y'all, and I am so appreciative of this space where we can come and encourage one another. I'm thankful for all of the comments. You don't know how this helps me operate from my gift. I don't even always know what the daggone gift is, but I know if I keep talking, I might find it, right? If we do something, we may stumble upon the passion or the gift that we didn't even know it was going to look that way. You have no idea how you being you authentically is blessing other people. How you telling your truth in the way that you decide to tell it is going to expand the thought process for all of us. You know those stories that we see of people doing impossible things, like maybe it's an 80-year-old person graduating from college, or it's a 12-year-old, flying a plane around the world. Those people who have decided that particular things about them are not going to stop them from operating from their gift. And then when they do it, it inspires all of us. Those are not just random people that are selected to be great. That lives in every single one of us. I heard Jay-Z said that one time. There is genius inside each and every single one of us. It is our responsibility to allow that to come forth. But you have to be aware of what is living in your body, physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You have to be so willing to be connected to your body I don't care who is talking in your ear about what you can and cannot do or what's not possible. I ain't never seen nobody do it, or who are you to do it? You got to know what that thing is that won't die in your body, so much so that you are willing to operate from it, even if you look foolish, even if you look crazy, because it's you, it's part of you, and it wouldn't be in your body if it wasn't created just for you. Hey, Giselle. And if it's in your head, you created it. I might just be confirming it. And again, I don't ever know where we're going when we, when we start doing this, but it is the energy that you bring that supports whatever comes out. And so I know what I know to be true, that there are individuals who are watching. There is something living in you that you haven't breathed life into, but it's still in you. And it's waiting for you to shine some light on it, for you to put some seasoning on it, for you to just try, speak about it, acknowledge it, become aware that it's there, and say, all right, all right, all right. I know that you are there. And these are all of the things, tell the truth. These are all of the things that I'm saying about this thing that I'm not doing. I'm afraid. I don't want to look silly. I ain't got enough money. Maybe that's it. I'm older than I was when I first started thinking about it. I haven't seen anybody else do it, so I'm not quite sure if it's whatever the story that you're telling is, get real about it. Get real about it. Instead of acting like it's not there, because it's showing up in other parts of your life. That uncertainty about the thing that is yours is uncertainty in other places in your life. And we could have a whole other discussion about that. But becoming aware of what is living in your body is you telling the truth. There are parts of me that I have forgotten about. There is joy and pleasure that I used to experience or I've never experienced that I'm unwilling to explore. I got a whole lot of can'ts and won'ts and ain't doings and not a lot of action towards the things that God has placed in your being. And if you need a visualization, it's literally, here is Giselle, here is Marissa, here is Carla, here is my daughter, my son, and I'm gonna place something inside of them. Nobody else has got it. And they're gonna take this thing into the world and make it a real thing. I don't want to be the one to say, God, I'm sorry I wasted your blessing. I'm sorry I didn't operate in that thing that you gave me. And you didn't think anybody else could do it but me in the way that I could do it. I don't want to say that. And I don't want to live that kind of life. I want to live the kind of life that says, let me tell you and show you what God gave me. And then I want to see what God gave you. I want to have a spiritual show and tell. So let me talk about my gift. And let me show you what it does. And let me show you and tell you. It may not look the way you think it's supposed to look, but guess what? It's mine. So no commentary from you. It's mine. And this is the place that I operate from. This is my authentic self. And then I want to see your authentic self. Show me what God gave you, because I'm going to show you what God gave me. And we could sit around and be like, wow, look how well loved we are, that we each got something unique and special, designed just for us. And we're not afraid to show it to other people. I love y'all. And I'm so grateful for all of your comments. Again, you may never know what it does for me in my spirit in those times when I'm like, I don't want to operate from my gift, because what if nobody's watching? No, what if no one is applauding? You got to applaud in here and know what that feels like. The sense of accomplishment that comes from you being authentic, that is the thing that needs to live in you and be the loudest in your ear. Not what someone else is saying, not how many people show up, not how many people are telling you it's a good thing. The satisfaction of accomplishment that you get in your body has to be louder than anything. So it's almost as if you and God are sitting down giggling about, you gave me that thing and look at what I did with it, God. Aren't you proud of me that I showed up exactly the way that you created me? I am thankful for y'all. I really, really am. You are so, so welcome. As always, if you want to have some further discussions, I got office hours. If you go to my website here, there's a link. You can click on the link. My calendar will open up and we can talk for an hour, complimentary discussion. It's not about me selling anything. It's really, I want to have spaces where people feel like if there are questions that we can talk it out. We're here every Sundays at 1 p.m. If you would like to join me live, maybe that's your gift. Having a discussion, conversation, there's also a link where you can do that, where you can see all of the different topics that I have scheduled. I haven't done November yet, but the rest of October is there. And then you can jump on here on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we can have a fuller discussion. I love the conversations that we have in this space. If you are in Delaware, I'm leaving to go to Trolley Square, which is in Wilmington, Delaware. There is a studio called Co-Contour. They're having self-care Sundays. I'll be going live over there as well, but I'll be back here next Sunday at 1 p.m. waiting to talk to y'all and waiting to love on y'all. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it was loving. And if it seemed like there were parts where I was yelling, because I want y'all to hear what I say and know to be true, that there is something absolutely wonderful and absolutely enormous growing in your being. And it is time for you to speak to it, love it, pour into it, and let it be expressed so that we can sit and look at it like, wow, look at what God did with you. I'm inspired. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching.